Now you'll see what my mother saw!
My crazy eye. To start?
No.
No. Oh, shit. It's recording right now. You already have it.
Yes. So basically, it's already going. Yeah, that's perfect. Let me know when you're ready. So this is us trying to do something different for the first time, and that is discussing an upcoming game. It seems like it's very close to me. Not so close to you.
No. It's good.
I should not have this on.
What?
Definitely. Well, screw it.
I would not have this on. I would turn it off just so there's no distractions.
Right, that's what I was saying. And I was like, yeah. There we go.
Doing a proper intro. Welcome to the SGC.
Thank you for joining me. Or actually, sorry. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and no matter the when, we're glad you decided to spend that time with us, and we are continuing our long road to Borderlands 3, coming out this September 13th. And this is going to be a little extra interstitial that's going to pop up. It's going to basically be us discussing the stuff that's already been out there for a little bit as far as information is concerned. And that reminds me, before we're done, I want to thank some of the people that I got some of this information from, and I'll make sure to put them in the what do they call that stuff?
Credits?
No,
Thank yous?
But on YouTube they have like in the
Memorandum?
Yeah, just don't keep naming things. The notes, I think, they're not liner notes, but basically may as well be. Because I got some really good. That's different section, but also there. Got a lot of good information from a bunch of different people, about 5, and so this isn't really about trying to expose the new stuff that nobody knows about. This is more about 2 people that really enjoy the series and kind of how they think this will affect the game. If it's a positive, it's a negative. I'm pretty sure most of these are going to be big positives, but just getting the opinions of people that are really just have been big fans of the game. Myself especially, I'm going through every single one of them now, and I'm finally recording the first episode of Tales from the Borderlands today, so that'll be going up soon or later. So Shawn doesn't know most of this information, so I'll be spilling it to him for the first time, and then kind of just getting his feedback on what he thinks about some of the things that they're doing. So I guess we'll get started.
Well, for me, it's more of like, I've been there, I've done that. I've played Borderlands 1, beat Borderlands 2, beat it, all the DLC for all of them, but it's so long ago that I played them, and then I was playing Borderlands 2 with you again, going through it, trying to refresh story-wise. I'm almost at the end of the original. I don't think I'm going to go through all the DLC again. Maybe Tiny Tina's, but I definitely want to hit that new, what was it called? Lilith something?
Commander Lilith in the Fight for Sanctuary.
Yep. I want to do that. So
that one I want to do with everybody.
Right.
Even get Tim if we can, and Chris if he's
back.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. So I'm looking forward to Borderlands 3, but I'm not going heavy like Geoffrey is in at the moment, trying to rehash every single detail of it.
And one, enjoying doing it, but 2 is also this gives people an opportunity that maybe want to take it in little chunks that they can watch the games be played and not have to be bothered actually getting frustrated by it. Skip ahead, whatever happens to be.
Right.
I had a couple areas in the pre-sequel where I fast forward to tons of boss fight because it's just so lopsidedly not great. As I've said in the videos, the 2K Australia is not wasn't their greatest feat in the pre-sequel, but it was still a good story, if nothing else. So I guess the first question, because we're going to go into characters first, or the hunters first, is like, had you made a decision as to who you wanted to play prior to anything you knew?
Right now, if the game came out today, I'd probably go towards Flak. And I think there was actually a poll that I saw that Gearbox even did themselves, wondering, hey, who you gonna play?
Twitter.
And I think Flak was number 1, but I was smitten with him probably way before that poll came out. But I just visually, I like the look of him. I do like the fact that he seems to be a little more, pet oriented. And I like that aspect. Like the Commando, I liked in the first one, in Borderlands 2.
Axton.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of the Siren as well. But
did you play Roland in the first game?
Yes. So I like having that extra pet, that hunter aspect, whatever it is. Plus, it seems like he uses a lot of sniper rifles, and I do like sniper rifles in these games. I'm a fairly good shot with them, and I just like to sit back and headshot you. Next guy, headshot you, continue.
Right.
So Mosey, I don't know if it's Mose or Mosey. I say Mosey because she's Mosey on in to the
Everybody's moseying if that's the case.
Sure. But anyway, she would be my number 2. What are you doing?
You got to draw attention to it. It's called grabbing a pen.
Oh.
By the way,
Well, you got off screen.
This is called paper. This is something that nobody uses anymore. Go ahead.
Damn computers. Anyway, so if I were to pick somebody else, it was probably going to be Mose. What I'm guessing, I don't know. I think all of us are going to end up playing single player, likely by ourselves, because it's not like, oh, I'm not going to play the game unless we're all playing together. That's not going to happen. So I'm going to pick a character, probably going to be Flak.
For the solo?
I don't know which. Flak's probably going to be solo. Although, honestly, man, I don't know. It's either him or Mose. I'm gonna have to determine which do I want to be my single player character, which do I want to have for multiplayer.
Gotcha.
And I know Chris is probably going to lean towards Mose as well. So if we're playing online, maybe he goes something else different. I don't know.
I know your cousin Tim had said he was interested in Mose as well.
Right. Zane inherently didn't interest me until I saw some of his abilities, which seemed kind of interesting. But if it's anything like Zero from Borderlands 2, I didn't like it at
seems,
all.
and we'll get into, I'll get into the more specifics of each one of them, but there's a hell of a lot more to him. And I think they probably realized that the way they had designed Zero, it was such a very specific player that would like to play as him, and then nobody else. Like, you had to kind of really want to be up close and doing a lot of like melee and other stuff, and I feel like the meleeing system is really kind of... And now, I never even played him, so I don't even know if his melee played completely different either, for that matter, but it just didn't.
I went sniper with him, obviously, and I just didn't like his ability. It was not good for me, at least my style. Even though I like to sit back and snipe, I did not like his ability. And brain fart here. Nope. What am I... Let's move forward, because I can't remember what the hell I was going to say.
Well, I was going to tell you that the best I can tell from the numerous articles I've read, as well as the things I've listened to and watched, that there's not going to be a real affinity for anybody to one gun, as you kind of found in other ones. There was some leanings towards like an SMG or towards a sniper rifle or towards a handgun. There's literally nothing in this one that makes you have to go into one, which I think ultimately plays well to you not being or nobody wanting to be solely committed to one type of character when, I love sniper rifles. Well, okay, because you like sniper rifles, you can't use Mose. You know what I mean? It seems like there's going to be some things that like Mose just seems like, because she's got a gigantic walking tank with her, it's going to make sense that you're going to want to kind of get up in the mix with her. And Zane and his different little, again, we'll get into it more specifics, but...
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say the Siren. She would have been my number 1 pick. But this guy. Always got to go with the Siren.
That is true.
I mean, maybe I'll go Siren in multiplayer. That could be it.
She, from what
What's her name? Maya?
Amara. To be honest with you, everything and this is not to say anything bad about Amara, but everything I've seen about all the other characters makes me feel like I would probably almost prefer to play with the other characters. Like Amara's, she seems to be a little more restricted as far as like her different talent trees are concerned. What you get in this game is you get things like, the skill tree. For every skill, there's a tree in every tree. There's augments, and the augments can cross over from different trees, so that you can have this augment activated from one tree, another one from here, and another one from here, if you can go down far enough into the tree to get them. So that you could quite literally be using like the pet from, let me get to the thing here, like from your hunter tree, and you could use the attack of something from the stalker tree, and then something else from the master tree, and it doesn't make a difference. That's why I think it feels like this game has gone that much further to make it so that you can really, really contort your play style to almost any of the characters. And then in the case, like, we may as well just get into it.
Yeah,
you know
let's start.
We have Amara.
We started right off the bat going off the rails.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it's discussion or opinions of these
planned
things.
Structure.
Planned structure. Well, I mean, and again, this is just kind of, again, giving people information that they probably already know, and more of the discussion of what it means. Now, Amara has phase grasp, which is basically just like Maya, except you'll see a gigantic hand shoot out of the ground and hold them there, as opposed to a big ball in the air like Maya has. A phase cast, which almost looks like a Final Fantasy Tactics doing chakra, where it just sends out this thing of energy and it hits everything that's in front of her. And it's not it's not a cone thing. It doesn't keep widening. It's just like this very specific. But again, through like enhancements in your augments and so forth, it can get bigger, more destructive, more whatever.
And what does it do? It just hits them or pushes them back? Or?
It hits. It does damage to everybody and probably knocks them back as well. Then phase slam, which is the one that everyone sees, which is really the cool looking one at least, and that's the like Ganesha looking arms sprouting out from behind her and ground pounds and just does damage to everything around her. The only thing I kept thinking about that is like the ground pound one seems really cool, but it also really means you'd have to be in the mix, which I guess my playstyle does have me kind of getting up close.
No offense, but yeah, you were definitely always. We are rescuing you quite a bit because
you just go headstrong.
Just go head forward or head down, charge in, and then just shooting everything, and we are always picking your ass back up.
Right. So in the case of her, it just seems like they're pretty straightforward. Those three different versions with multiple augments for each one of them, and different trees that you can go down to enhance certain things, like causing. They have, as I mentioned, or I haven't mentioned yet, sorry, instead of slag, they have now a radiation. It seems to do pretty much what radiation does, except for there's an explosion, or at least a possibility for an explosion, once the person dies, that slag didn't have before. So corrode is still there, which passes from one enemy to the next. Then this new radiation one seems like you'll get them. It'll wear down their health as well as their shields, and then when they die, there's the opportunity for the explosion to take place, and bits going flying everywhere.
Can I ask you a question?
Doing damage, sure.
Is there, so obviously Borderlands 2, I think I remember level cap was originally 50, maybe, and then they upped it to 80, or I don't know what
it's up to 80.
Maybe it's always been
No,
80.
I think it was 50.
But
I think you're right.
But you could never unlock every single skill in all three trees in the previous game. Are you able to do that now? Do you know?
It does not. I mean, I went to the what is it called? Skill tree template on the website, and it doesn't look like it. But then again, I don't know if they've even said if there's a level cap yet.
Because it would be really nice to just be able to, if you really wanted to put that much time into the game, play.
Doing every
eventually being able
quest.
to unlock every single thing, every single thing, and then therefore you can mix and match and choose what you wanted to do, which skill.
If the template is anything, they would have to go up to at least 100, I would think, to fill them all.
Right.
Like, there's just so much stuff. But again, like, I think the idea being that, like, you can still find that real niche, because there's always stuff in these trees that you kind of go like, really, like I'm not a big fan of the timed stuff. Like, for every kill you get faster movement speed and faster reload speed for X
I will
amount of
honestly
time.
say, going through it right now with Axton in Borderlands 2, there is one of those kill skills where my my reload speed, no, my recoil on my gun is increased, and then also my
or it's decreased. Or no, I guess recoil.
I can't remember which it ties together, but it's my fire rate and I think it's my reload speed, if I remember correctly, are dramatically increased after I kill something, and it's a huge difference. It's like 60% or something. I can't remember the exact numbers and what it is, but I will say it makes a huge difference when I'm shooting something. Like, things are dying even quicker. As soon as I kill one guy, man,
it goes
assault
off.
rifle shoots off even that much quicker.
The problem I have is sometimes the way I play is that I will often, now, because this is probably a lot of the reason that I play Maya the way I do, is the way I've kind of spec'd her, so to speak, is like almost everything I'm doing is putting like a corrosion debuff on almost every creature that I'm shooting at. So whether it's a skag or another psycho or a bandit or whatever. So for me, in a lot of cases, like put 3 bullets into this person, put 3 bullets into this person, put 3 bullets into this person, and a lot of times the person that I first shot will be dead by the time I'm finishing off the 3 bullets on the third. So in a lot of cases, the proc, I think we would refer to it in MMO stages, is just, it doesn't always work out so great. Now some of them, like when they up your damage and you're making sure that you're just killing, I think it works well. It just, again, I think plays to the specificity of 2, and then or in some cases the lack of specificity in 2, and then how specific it gets in 3, and how you can really kind of look for that niche or whatever that really suits your gameplay. Whether it's using SMGs, almost always seem to be my gun. I like the amount of bullets it sprays, and again, for me, it's not even so much how much damage I can put out at the moment, it's just how many bullets I can put into them that will stack the this nasty corrode debuff on them, and so that they die, or one, they're going to die from it. I don't even have to shoot them again. When they die, the cloud comes up. The cloud now hits another guy who's walking next to it. I can often shoot 1 bullet into a guy, and as long as I'm standing like across from the person I killed and the people that are coming, they'll keep walking through his cloud and killing themselves because they just keep getting corroded by the... So it's like, the idea in my head is like, some of these procs don't make as big a difference because sometimes I don't even have to shoot a lot. But, it's also like, I spent time making sure that I was doing exactly what I wanted when I wanted to kill these guys.
Right.
But I think, to get back to the point, I think for her, it's just, it seems like there's these an arrow shape, a hexagon shape, or a hexagonal shape, and and a circle, and the idea is like, you can equip, like, under this, you can only equip 1 more arrow, or you can equip 1 more circle, or 1 more hexagon. So the idea is like, okay, when I go through this thing, I have to look for these and say, okay, well, which one? I can only have one of those, and one of those. So what do I want to do? So it seems still a little bit more limiting, which, again, once I get my hands on it, maybe it's going to completely change. But then I see Zane, who has, like, these multiple ones. He can, if we just get into him for a second,
do it.
He can do 2 skills at the same time. So his are like digiclone. Like Zero, except I learned that Zero's was always just a decoy. Zane's actually shoots. It's a clone. It's a digital clone of him. So he will stand there drawing fire, but also continue to shoot. And then in his particular, I'm trying to piece the words together again, chemo brain. In his way, he can take anything he's doing, and then I think it's hitting like L1, and then he will change that skill some way to benefit him. In the best way to put it is like, okay, his digiclone, he goes through this, he puts it up and starts shooting. He runs around to go flank them, starts shooting them. At the last second, if he wants, he hits L1, he will teleport back to his self. You can also then spec into that. I guess when you teleport back into it, it causes like this big kind of explosion where he is. He also sets up a big barrier. The big barrier will go up, and anybody who shoots through the barrier, including us, or allies,
teammates, right?
Shooting through it, you get a buff. The bullets get buffed when they go through the shields. So it always, wants you to get behind it, saying like, hey, you want to lay out some people. This is another way to get even stronger. But he can also then L1 it, and it puts up a shield that's just specific to him if he wants, after it's been up for a second, and go up and start running up on somebody and shooting at them. And then the last one he has is an attacking sentinel drone that I know that basically its L1 is you're constantly commanding it who to attack next. So in a way, he's got like a little bit of a Beastmaster. He's got a little bit of Beastmaster / turret in the form of his drone. He's got the digiclone, which again is a lot like a turret in a way, and draws fire as well. And then you've got your barrier, which is kind of like Roland in the beginning or the first game. And you can have 2 of them at any given time, as long as he's willing to sacrifice not having a grenade. That's it. So you can either have your grenade slot, or you can have 2 of the 2 different things. And again, different augments will change how things work and go back and forth. It's just like, it's pretty insane. That's one of the reasons why afterwards I said, I don't think that, Zane is going to be...
Insane Zane.
He's not going to be quite the same Zane.
He's not the same.
As Zero was.
Puddin' Tane. Sorry.
Yeah. Then we go to Moe's. I call her Mose, the mech operator, and the mech is called Iron Bear.
Iron Bear?
The Iron Bear.
Okay.
The Iron
Clearly
Bear,
she's Russian, right?
I don't think so. I don't think there's countries like that in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
So they're saying there's lands without borders?
What is that? How is that a pun, though?
It's not.
I don't know. I was like, what?
It's not.
It's like Doctors Without Borders? I don't understand.
Borderlands, lands without borders.
Oh, I see. Borderlands, sure. Why not? Now, it wasn't very clear on the variations that Iron Bear has. It sounded like one was kind of tank-oriented, but she's inside of it all the time, so I've got to imagine it's always kind of tank-oriented. It didn't seem like...
Do you know how long he stays out when he calls him at first?
The videos I've seen, and we have some that are playing, actually he's playing right now, of Moe's,
Okay.
so people that are watching can know that that's actually Moe's gameplay right there. It seems to be there for quite a while, and it does a ton of stuff, like missiles launching all over the place, flamethrowers, and you can equip him with numerous different types of weapons, as well as I'm down for flamethrower, a railgun, a shield, a explosives expert, regular like machine guns, and then also one of the cool things I read was that kind of like Zane's barrier, he has a mounted gun on top of him, and an ally can jump on top of the mounted gun, and so she can roll with Iron Bear, and somebody can be on top using the gun on top of Iron Bear.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Realistically, we all wanted to mount the Iron Bear at one point in our life, right?
So then there's Flack, the Beastmaster. He has...
FL4K. It's not Flack.
Flack. He has something called Fade Away, which is stealth. Much more in the sense of Zero's stealth, which has an ambush attack with it. You can rest your foot down if that's what you're trying to do, is avoid putting it on my knee.
No, it's fine.
So that's one of them. Fade Away is a stealth ambush attack. Then there's something called Gamma Burst, which is an AoE damage as well as pet buff. And what's happening, I guess, as I understand it, is the pet is teleporting through this thing, the Gamma Burst.
Okay.
And when it comes through, it's getting a huge buff, like a big buff to the pet. So it's doing damage to everything that's around it, but then also the pet comes out of it, starts attacking stuff, and he gets this big buff. So again, it seems, and this is why I think Flack, you laid claim, again, you can do it if you want to. You laid claim to him originally, but I think he's going to turn out to be one of the most, flexible, and that's why I might play him on my solo playthrough. And
I just think visually he looks awesome.
He's a cool looking character for sure. For me, I always love playing as female protagonists, so that's why I was Amara or Mose. But then, I've had Siren, like you said, for every single game except for pre-sequel where you don't have a choice of a Siren.
To me, Flack kind of reminds me of, I think they called them the Geth in Mass Effect. The
Geth? Yeah, the Geth. You'd remember than I better than it. I mean, I played him, but it was so long ago.
Yeah, the one-eyed robot-looking things. I don't know. It kind of looks like that, but anyway.
No, yeah, and then they has Rack Attack, which is more of this precision strikes. And again, through augments, you can have one, you can have up to 5 racks attacking. It just seems like that's just his skills alone. And then this is one of the more things that I got into at a more extensive purpose. And his name was Ryan Central. Like I said, I'll get it at the end. The guy, really, he got to go and play it ahead of time. He spent a lot of time specifically with Flack and trying to learn him, and he had a ton of really great information. Like I said, I'll put him in the notes.
So for Flack, he's got the 3 skill trees, obviously.
3 skill trees, which would be Fade Away, Gamma Burst, and Rack Attack. Right. And then within that, there are pets. Right.
And is there, one pet is specific to each tree?
No. Well, yes.
Okay.
But, again, just like everything, like I was saying earlier, you can have the pet from the Hunter class, and the thing from a skill from the Stalker class, and then another thing from the... It's just like a complete, total hodgepodge of however you decide to put them together.
Right, but what I'm wondering is... obviously, in the trailer, it shows him and his 3 pets, and
You
they're
can be-
all doing together. So can you like?
You can be completely spec'd in the hunter
Yeah.
and still get the pet that comes out of stalker.
But what I'm asking is, can I have all 3 pets equipped?
Simultaneously? No, I don't think
Not
simultaneously.
necessarily all 3 come out at once.
Yes,
but
you can have-
as I activate my ability, I can choose which one I want to send out.
Yes.
That would be cool.
Yes.
All right. Because I didn't want to be like, oh well, I'm spec'd and I'm only using the
Again,
the bird or
let
whatever
me
it is.
go.
What are the 3 pets anyway?
Well, that's what I'll get into.
All right.
But let me also go and say that I give you all the information as it seems to come from these different sources, and like I said, from different websites I've read and videos I've watched. Nothing I want to be said is saying like this is exactly how it goes, because
Right.
even they were, in some cases a little bit scratching their head. But it seems like you can have any number of those pets, because each one of them is just like reaching level 2 in the first one, when all of a sudden you get your first skill, you get your turret as Axton.
Level 5.
Level 5. Okay, well, I think it's in 2. In this one, you get your first point. So at 2, all of a sudden, you get, you get to pick one. And my guess is you go with, like, Hunter, and you get a Spider Ant. Then, all of a sudden, if you get 3, my guess is you can put 1 point into the next one, which is Stalker, which is a Jabber. Right, exactly what you're thinking. And then the last one is Master, which gives you a Skag. Now, the thing is, it seems like, okay, well, you've already spent 3 points to get all 3 pets. Again, if you're wanting to become really specific, you know exactly how you want to play. You've gone onto the website and you've looked over the, the template skill trees. You know exactly how you're going to go. You may end up staying away from it.
Yeah, maybe
one
skip
of them,
one,
you end up
maybe 2.
skipping one, or even both of them, just because you're going to go absolutely apeshit with the Jabber. So in the Hunter one, you get the Spider Ant, as I said.
By the way, if I get the Jabber, his name is definitely going to be Walkie.
Cool. So Hunter is a Spider Ant, and they have evolutions. So the first one is just a regular Spider Ant, has basically a charge, and he gives you regeneration of health. Always.
Okay. It's always act. Well, no, he has to be out in order for that.
He's out to get it. But it sounded like, listening to Ryan, that it's part of the tree. So it may not have to be out. But I'm going to say that it probably does, just for the sake of argument. So then there's the Spider Ant, and then it goes to a Scorcher Spider Ant. Now it's imbued with fire. It does the same charge as it does before, but now it has fire infliction as well on it as well. And then the last version is called the Countess, and it's like a bigger, nastier version. And I think, if I remember correctly, he said it had corrosion, corrosion, because slag is the one that's gone. And again, with a beefed up regeneration of health, and then also I think like certain things like reload speeds. Each one of these had multiple stuff, and I was trying to get it all down because it was kind of a video I didn't see until late, so I was like jacking it off. Stalker tree, the Jabber. Jabber looks like a big monkey, honestly, like with almost like a lion's mane.
Okay.
They use weapons, so it's like having another person with you with a gun. It then evolves to what's called the Beefcake.
Okay.
So I think it goes from a SMG. The Beefcake, I believe, then moved up to a shotgun, and then the last one is a gunslinger.
So just dual wielding?
I don't think so. I think it just used an even more powerful gun, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Again, I should have written more stuff down, but I was just kind of crunched for time. And like I said before, I think the first one was reloading. This one is crit, as well as increased movement speeds. The master class, the final one, is the Skag. It has evolves into the Great Horned Skag, and then finally an Iridium Skag. It increases your fire rate, and it also increases your overall damage. So odds are, like, the Skag is going to be viewed as probably your hardcore DPS one. Though, I mean, if you've got a Jabber who's shooting alongside with you, giving you crit. Again, I think the idea in their head is, like, you know what, if you go with the Jabber and it's going to give you crit, start looking at your skill tree and all the things that proc a crit, proc.
Right, makes sense.
So you're going to like kind of lean heavily into the weapons that each one gives you. Now, one of the notes I put down is each hunter has 3 specific skills and can interchange between them, and they have specific trees for each skill. With the changes to guns, to skills, and the ability to equip different skills, you can create the perfect play style for you. So I think it's, again, is just going to come down to really, I think more than anything else is you're going to probably use that, assuming it's there, because I think I saw it in one of the videos, that you have the ability to respec. My guess this is be one of the first ones really where like you play it and all of a sudden go like, oh well, it's not quite working out the way I wanted to.
Ellie's back.
Yeah, Ellie's back. Somebody's not though.
Zed, we know. Zed's dead.
Yeah, I told you Zed was back alive.
Roland's dead. We know that.
Yes. Besides him.
How many more people are dead?
Well, you'd have to play the games, I guess. And I can't ruin it to the people that don't know necessarily. Next, we're going to move on to co-op. I think this is all pretty much, again, exactly what people would have probably said that this is the game needed, or these were the additions the game really needed. The game balances players.
I just figured it out. It's Claptrap. He's dead.
Nope, he's not dead. You can play as Claptrap in the pre-sequel.
Yeah, I know.
The game balances the player levels when joining lower level friends. So, like, if I were to join you and I'm 29, it's going to lower me to fit your game.
That's good.
Very good. That's one of the things a lot of people talked about. The loot that is dropped is scaled to the players. So even if I'm in that thing playing with people that are like 25 and I'm 32, I'm going to be getting 32 level 32 guns as you will get level 25 or whatever the appropriate level drops are.
That is awesome.
The loot in turn means that the loot is instanced because there's no more stealing from one another. You won't necessarily join somebody for a fight and then...
You hear that, Chris? No more of your shenanigans.
Loot snatching is prohibited. So it's completely instanced. Though you can shut this feature off to go for old school. I don't know really why would you want it to. But I mean, for them, they're probably thinking.
But if I pick up a weapon, so if I see a weapon, let's see a nice purple SMG. I don't like SMGs. I know you do, but you don't see it, right? It's not on your screen even to pick up. If I pick it up, am I able to then drop it and let you grab it?
Yes.
Or can I trade with you?
I think you can trade, or you can definitely trade. Okay. I know that for sure. I don't think though that like if I join you and you pick up a level 25 weapon on 32, it's not going to benefit me anyway. It will still stay the level, or whatever the instance version of yours was, it will stay that way. Your bounty board will reflect enemies your friends have fought and give you an opportunity to also fight them. And I'm not sure if this was like inspired by the Nemesis, what do they call it, the Nemesis something or other, in the Mordor games. Remember how you built up a Nemesis
Lord
of the Rings games.
Yep.
Nemesis system maybe. I'm not sure.
Nemesi.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the if that's the idea is like, oh wait, this person took down your friend at one point. Obviously, you would eventually take them down, or you would have quit the game.
Right.
Or if it's the idea is like, hey, they fought this like maybe. Remember how we only recently discovered as big a fan of the game as I am? I had no idea that there was these raid versions of the monsters that existed. Like you go out with 4 people and fight these creatures that are just.
I think those were introduced after we had.
Oh, we had played through them
way back when.
It's cool to think though that's something that they did, and I'd love to fight one. Now and 2, get your cousin and Chris together and try to fight one and take one down.
I tried once.
I don't know if they can have. It was too much.
It wasn't too difficult. It was just this. You're fighting the same thing for 15, 20 minutes, and you're just like, oh my god, this is just getting boring. It's challenging, but it's not fun. At least for me, it wasn't.
So I don't know if it's like a Nemesis system where like it took you down, so it gives me a chance to avenge your death. But it's stuff that's going to pop up on your board to let you know. Wait, that's your finger.
Yeah. No, it's Flack.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, what are you doing?
Trying to get my finger to go the right direction.
Point to him.
Point to it, yeah.
Yeah, you just got to remember it's right here. So that stuff will pop up in your bounty board, with regular quests, I guess. And I'm not, and that was the other thing I was going to say. I'm not sure if maybe they have named monsters. Maybe that's what it was. Is like you ran into some guy that's just out in the middle of wherever, and you happen upon him, and like, hey, your friend found him. Like, see if you can find him. That kind of thing. An in-game mail system. So now I'll be able to like collect something and say I get it in my game and I already have one, or I have something that I like better, but this is still an amazing purple or whatever. I can then send it to you so that when you get to the level, you can start using the weapon as well. That's pretty fucking badass.
So, but if, just out of curiosity, if I'm playing as Flack and you're playing as Amara, will it be an in-game female system?
And the last one is split screen couch co-op for 2 people.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, not as sorry as I am. So split screen for 2 people, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yes, that is awesome because sometimes Chris does come visit from Cape Cod, and yeah, it'd be nice to have a game that's couch co-op for once.
Yeah, 2 people, not more, but I mean,
Still.
Splitting it 4 ways would be just like, huh? And even then, sometimes, like, when all of a sudden you split it vertically.
They're not splitting it vertically, I hope.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so. Most of the time they always do this, but even then, it's just so much wide and so little up that it's like, it's always.
Yeah, but with the size of TVs nowadays, it's probably not going to be a problem.
But that, or they sometimes will make it the same aspect ratio and then make them off kilter of each other. I don't know if you've ever seen that. So, like, there's a black box here and a black box there. They're still on top of one another, but they don't.
That's cool, though. Couch co-op is
Couch
always nice.
co-op is
Very,
nice.
very, very few games are that nowadays. Aggravating.
So we move into the next one, which is gun-related stuff.
Nice.
Now,
we're all here for the guns, right?
one thing that I thought was interesting, billions of guns. They make very clear that it's billions of guns this time around.
What was it before?
Millions.
Next game, trillions?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Then they said there's more coming. Borderlands 3, I don't know why I put this in guns related. People made sure to note this, which I thought this was kind of obvious, but Borderlands 3 takes place after everything we've seen. It is now sequential. 3 is like after Tales. It is after pre-sequel. It is after 2. It is after 1. It is after all of them. It's after Lilith and the...
Borderlands 3, the pre-sequel.
Right,
no?
Maybe. Someday, but not now. But this actually is a complete and total continuation. It follows all the events, even though they haven't gone out and said what the canon is for the Tales from the Borderlands yet. So we don't know exactly like what my playthrough I'm going to do if it goes the same way. As we know from most of these Telltale games, they don't typically have huge, consequences for the most part. So odds are...
It's 5 episodes?
I think so. It's definitely, I think so. It may be even 6. And it's been fantastic so far, by the way. All weapons have an alt fire mode by pressing down on the D-pad.
Okay.
I need to get my drink real quick.
Do you mean like a single shot versus a triple burst versus all out,
Depending on the game,
fire?
Depending on the gun. Sorry, I keep kicking my microphone here. Depending on the gun maker. The gun makers are going to always have been, you get Hyperion. Hyperion are always, I think the ones that when you hold down the trigger, they always get more and more accurate.
They start off like, whoa,
they can
and all of a
start
sudden
off,
it's like pinpoint accuracy.
And then there's also ones
Jacobs, you can just pretty much just mash on the trigger.
Jacobs are usually also like the highest damaging ones, and typically, but usually no bells, no whistles, and that kind of stuff.
I love Jacobs fire weapons.
Then I forget which ones that explode. TDR, I think, TDR is the one.
TDR explode.
And they're the ones that will now have the legs and the guns, and they'll run around shooting things. Also, some are like turrets. Some are like there's all kinds of variations.
Which is neat. I mean, is it just going to be a gimmick? Let's see how it actually performs and what benefits it provides, as opposed to is it just a cool little gimmick that is funny?
It's like a reload. I mean, I would argue that it's the same level of gimmick of throwing your gun at them and it rematerializes in your hands, and the ones you threw just explodes. So I feel like it's more of the same wackiness of making absolutely no sense that you're going to throw your gun at them, but. Also saw some that looked like these kind of weird red grids that kind of bounce around and basically looking for enemies, and then they like cling to them. Other ones, I made mention of it here, Jacob's guns will offer a ricochet on crits, hitting other people nearby.
Nice. So if I have a headshot trained Jacob's sniper rifle, bam, hit him in the head, it's going to hit somebody, potentially hit somebody else?
I think potentially, as long as there's somebody around, it will hit some.
Nice.
Does it hit them in the head and crit them too? Probably not, but it definitely ricochets off and hits them. And I saw some of the videos, and you could see it as they zoomed in on it, showing a bullet as it ricocheted off of somebody and hit somebody else.
Nice. Anything about grenades? Any modifications to grenades?
Not that I saw. I mean, there's going to be different, more varieties and so forth, like, between... I mean, they've got pretty much everything known to man at this point, from sticky to, what do they call them?
Rubber.
Bouncing betties.
Homing.
Right, homing to...
Children spawning.
Right, the ones that detonate again. So
You know.
it would almost be difficult to imagine
Suck
if they could
guys
think of
in.
something else. Another one was the Atlas will make homing weapons, which showing a bit of my age, is like the gun back from Resistance Fall of Man, where you could target somebody. Once you hit them with a target, you could go around the corner and start firing in the air, and the bullets would wrap around the corner and go hit them. Same kind of thing. So some of the alt fires, I remember somebody saying like mini missiles to grenades.
What other weapons?
Another joke?
No joke. Just the
Jork?
actual jork. Another joke is just a reference to Fifth Element. Remember when he shoots and let's go.
Yeah, and actually, I think that Ryan Central guy made a reference to that specifically. All weapons will come with an item score now, so it will be less difficult to determine whether or not you have which one is the better weapon. The item score will determine or give you an idea
as to which one's higher rated.
Which one's the better.
Usually, I'm not gonna say which one. This is always a go to, but I always looked at which one is worth more.
Right. Yeah, that was
1,300 versus 2,000. Price wise, usually the 2001 is a reason why it resells for 2,000 or costs 2,000.
It's rare,
right? But it doesn't always mean that it's a better gun for you.
Right. Sometimes there was like I picked up an SMG playing in Borderlands 2, and I got this SMG that was like crazy powerful. The problem was it had terrible bullet velocity. So you'd shoot it, and
it just takes forever.
It would take a while for them. Not like ridiculous, but these guys hop around an awful lot,
right.
And they would get out of the way almost every single time.
Try shooting a buzzard with that thing.
Yeah, right, exactly. So eventually, I gave up because it's like I have to be right on top of them, which I often am. But even then, I still expect, especially somebody who's going to put like 2 bullets in one guy with the idea of him getting infected to move on to the next one. I can't be like wondering, oh, did that one. Did he happen to roll or leap out of the way at the last second of that one when you got the bullet velocity to back it up in another gun? Also, like I said, some of the guns will have the ability to switch from one element to another. So if, like, you're needing to remove a shield and then go back, remember the idea before about having a gun that you can go to one and then go to a switch to another gun quick? Now you'll be able to do it on the same gun.
Good, because I hated oh, hey, I'm going to hit you just to take out your shields. And then I'm going to slowly switch to another gun to now do your regular damage.
Unless you had and that's which case you had to start looking for the skills that gave the ability to switch guns faster. Mm-hmm. Or even, I think somebody told me some relics had it. I never found one. Legendary items, when they drop, will have a special sound just for them, so you know that they were dropped.
Good, because let me tell you, a person that sees, I'm not going to say color deficit, one thing that does suck is looking at something and you see that it's green, but you look at it so quickly, it's orange, but you look at it so quickly you think it's a green one, because how often do the orange legendary things drop for you, and I just end up, not even picking it up, or anything like that. It's happened way too many times.
Or that.
The colors just look too similar.
How would you know?
How would I know? Because sometimes I'll pick it up thinking it's a green just to go sell it, and then I'll realize, holy shit, why does this sell for so much money? And then I realize, oh wait, orange. This is an orange. Usually the oranges will have, sometimes the red writing that'll say some weird indication, like
it's a quote from it or something like that.
Yeah, which may give it away a little bit, but not, I don't know, not always. But it just got aggravating. The colors blend in. I always wondered, why are there different variations of purples in, at least Borderlands 2? There's a dark purple, and then there's more of a pinkish.
Strong pink, right.
Right,
yeah.
What the hell's the difference in that?
I, too, am colorblind, so... The other cool thing about it is that it will not only give you a chime or a noise indicating that it dropped, but it'll also pop up on the map. So you'll know even if you don't necessarily catch the sound, you will notice on your mini-map there's a little logo saying that there's, like, I guess an L that will indicate that there's a legendary sitting on the map.
Nice.
And then I'll go lastly to say that radiation has replaced slag with decaying, just like slag. I felt like all it was really designed, it did damage of its own, but it seems like it
just like basically coat them in slag so you can do more.
So you can do more damage with other weapons,
right. But now
especially
you're
fire.
Around,
I think.
Yeah, you're carrying around an extra weapon just to slag somebody, and for me,
well, it's just like
in the middle of a fight, I'm not going to be like, yes, I'm going to slag you, switch to my other weapon, slag you, switch to my other weapon, slag. It's just
it's not electrocute them first to get rid of the shield, because slagging doesn't work unless they're unshielded. Then once they're unshielded, then switch to a slag weapon, and then switch to yet a third weapon, so you can do more damage. Obviously,
it's like I was carrying around a weapon for shield specifically. Then I realized, well, I have an assault rifle that does explosive damage, which eats away shields pretty damn quick anyway. There's no point of having a gun just for shields. Right. You know?
Also, by the way, I know an alt firing mechanism for, I forget what brand it is now that I think about it. But it has a face shield, kind of like the ones that they use in like Rainbow Six, where they attach the shield on the front of it. So that's one of the alts. You can pop up a shield and start shooting behind the shield. Okay, so now we move on to quality of game, or quality of life, as some people call it. You can quick swap sweat.
Quick swap sweat. That's good.
You can quick swap quests with the D-pad. So, like, now, remember how you had to always go to the thing and start thing? You can literally, within the same zone, start flipping back and forth.
I mean, that's definitely quicker, but I didn't really have an issue of, like...
I hated it. I hated the fact that...
It didn't bother me.
I hated that you couldn't have... To be honest with you, my ideal situation would have been having multiple quests, like, on at the same time.
Wait, it's with a D-pad you do this? Mm-hmm. So how do you switch weapons? That's normally how you switch weapons in Borderlands 2.
I don't know. I guess we'll see a different way. Or it may be, like, when you're doing something specifically. I have no idea. All I know is that it was the switching with the D-pad, and both of the guys that spoke about it said it was really, really nice.
I never really had an issue with it, but
you can restock all your ammo with one click.
But still have to be at a machine. It's not like you can do it out in the open, right?
Right.
Okay. That's awesome.
That's awesome, because I remember how many times they said, Marcus munitions, and you said until it says you're insufficient funds or you're full. So yes, one slick little maneuver and you get all your ammo filled in one shot. As long as, I guess, you have enough money for it.
Right.
You can hijack vehicles, get them scanned, and then you have them in the catch-a-ride. Catch-a-ride! I think that's pretty cool.
Depending on how many vehicles
there's quite a few. I know that I've seen 4.
Okay.
Like a truck-like looking thing, the weird kind of doom buggy, but it's up high, the gigantic tire that they drive in, and then something that looked very similar to what we were used to in that car.
Okay. Cool.
And maybe even the one that, like, Mad Moxie drove for a while in I guess it was a pre-sequel. I'm losing track of them.
Was she ever a playable character? I don't think she was.
No. Not yet, at least.
I thought maybe she would have been like a DLC character for the pre-sequel.
No. She's Ellie's mom, too, by the way.
That I know.
Ellie and Scooter. Scooter.
You son of a bitch. Why would you do that?
What? You're not going to know about it because it happens in a game you're not playing. Vehicles have components that can be switched out beyond the usual guns. So only thing I saw was shields, and that's all they mentioned was shields. So I don't know what else there would be. Unless maybe there's components like for ramming and so forth. But I know that they showed that there were shields that could be taken out and then placed into like the big tire. I saw it was the big truck one, and then they swapped it into the tire one. So there was this big, light barrier in front of the tire instead of front of the truck.
Okay.
Obviously, you could always switch out guns, but maybe you can switch them on the fly now as opposed to just having, I pick, you Pikachu. And then you're stuck with it for the rest of the time. But that's something interesting, and it could be, become something a lot more. Nobody was very, very specific about this, so I want to make sure that this is taken with a grain of salt. Fast travel seems to be anywhere you want to go. Like, it's either they have a lot more points, or you can legitimately pick a place you want to go, and it will take you there. Not 100% sure. I had multiple people say, like, fast travel is like wherever you want to go, you can go there. And it's just like, it can be interpreted a lot of different ways. It didn't
like if you specifically want to be on the top of this building, boom, you're
I don't.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's that like precise, because the maps are probably not that precise. But it seems like if you wanted to, and again, maybe they'll make it so you can't do it unless, like, you're not in a fight. Because obviously, if you're in a fight and then suddenly you fast travel the hell away because you're getting your ass kicked, seems kind of unfair. You always had to go to a fast travel machine to do it before. So again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
It's probably just more checkpoints as opposed to I want to go to, I don't know, Three River Valley. Three Horn Valley. You go there, and there's just like, well, there's one point that you're going to that you're always going to warp to in Three Horn Valley. And now there might be like 5 or 6 different places.
In different zones. And that's the other thing that was kind of better in my mind, was there was like a kind of almost instantaneous revealing of the map. So like when you're walking over it, like the cloud is just floating away, as opposed to, I don't know if you're familiar, if you paid a lot of attention, but you'd always have to get to a section of the map before it would suddenly appear. Like, you'd get to...
Yeah, it's the fog of war.
Right, but in this one, it's like literally like, it's almost like it's an area exposed around your little blip on the screen, about like yay big. So like as you move through it, you're just exposing it. So like I guess maybe also helps with the fast travel situation. But I always hated the fact that like sometimes you'd end up having to go.
Beginning?
Yes, that's the beginning.
Who's that chick? Those are the villains, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
We'll
get there. Right. So a slow reveal of the fog of war, rather than having to go through a specific point and then suddenly the map reveals itself, which always kind of aggravated me, because it would, in which case I'm hoping, I didn't hear anything about this, is that there will be some more denotation about whether it's high or low. Like sometimes there was a map in 2 where you go to, all I know is there's a ton of bugs, and it's like corrosion stuff, green crap all over the place. And the problem is, one of the areas to clear so you can get the whole map is way up top of the building, and I had no idea. So I'm wandering around trying to figure out how to get to it before I realized, oh, it's above you, that's why you're not revealing the map. Doesn't quite make, a ton of sense, because my map isn't 3-dimensional, so we'll see if that changes at all. Moving on to home base. We now have a ship called the Sanctuary 3, which you will use to travel from planet to planet. You start off the game in Pandora, and then you fight through a certain amount of stuff that's happening, and then eventually you get to Sanctuary 3 and the ability to travel to different planets. First planet, Promethea, the home planet of Atlas, or the Atlas Corporation. It looks a lot like Opportunity. Did you get to Opportunity yet? That's the city that, like, basically Jack was building, had statues of him.
Yeah. I'm way past that.
It looked like Opportunity, except very vertical. So a lot of like neon, very clean looking, as opposed to so many other areas in the world that look like dog shit. The next one is Eden 6, which when they get to it, we've already seen it once. That's where Mose is in that gameplay video. And it looks like the bayous of like Louisiana. A lot of like, cypress trees, or what look like cypress trees, and some verticality to it as well. It appears that I
saw something where he was like coating his gun with his other gun. I don't know, it was weird. Just like one gun was pointed straight forward, the other gun was pointed at his own gun, and he's like spraying some sort of liquid all over his gun. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm sure you may be seeing things. It appears that that's the planet for Jacobs, the Jacobs company, and it would make sense because the undead, I forget what it's called now, Dr. Ned.
Zed.
No, Ned. In this, the DLC was Ned. He was pretending to be somebody else, which was the Jacobs, planet or place on Pandora, was also like Bayou, so it makes some sense. Next one is Athenis, which is Maya's homeworld. Maya, my favorite. Though it's weird because everything says that they showed the planet in an introductory video from Gearbox. Though they didn't say anything about playing on it, I can't imagine that they would create a whole landscape just for like a cutscene to have to do with Maya or whatever. So my guess is you fight on it. And I saw a lot of Malawan banners, so I think that's maybe the home of Malawan, the Malawan Corporation, because everything in this world that we've gotten to know revolves around these corporations owning everything. So, and then they say that there's rumors for more, and I've had some people say that they've heard up to like 6 to 12.
Planets?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It is a lot. But I mean, if you think about how many zones there are, and even with DLC, that if like there's only 4 zones on each planet, then it would add up to the same amount of stuff. But they claim that there'll be more places to go and more bosses than any other Borderlands game or any of that stuff that's come beforehand. And
Just
then
imagine when Borderlands 10 hits. Just imagine all the stuff that's going to be in this game.
Hopefully, I'll
Might
still
take up
be
2
alive.
discs worth of space.
Or maybe it'll be a digital world at that point.
I hope not.
I do. The other thing is all planets now will have a distinctive day and night cycle. Now, I know that 2 has day and night.
Yeah, but there's really nothing
Different. It's
nothing
just darker.
different that I've seen other than just
Right.
visually darker.
Right. So I think in this case there'll be different people will be out, or less people will be out.
A lot of gas?
Rain, I would assume. No. So I'm thinking that most likely you're just going to see stuff that becomes more specific to the time, and I would imagine it's going to be just a lot of, fauna, I guess, different fauna. One of the coolest little things that they added, like knowing that it exists is awesome. I probably wouldn't have thought about it until it happened to me again during the game. We turned that thing off so you wouldn't stare
I'm
at it.
listening
So
to
now
you.
you're
I'm just like,
I know, but
maybe
it
there's
makes
something
it
that comes up that I want to react to that I haven't seen yet, which looks awesome. Who's that chick? She looks awesome.
Maya.
No, not so
That's
much.
her home planet, Maya.
That looks like Tiny Tina.
And it was Tiny Tina.
That looks like Ellie.
It was.
That looks like Jack, his
Nope.
brother,
Nope.
Paul.
No, that was...
No?
Rosanna?
Rosetta?
Rosanna. She was like the DLC character, the Baroness.
Anyway, go on, continue. One of the things that you saw that you thought were awesome.
Is that it's going to have a lost and found system. So, like, if you've ever had to drop something because you just needed the room, you'll find it on the ship in the lost and found.
So how does that work then? Because if it's a piece of gear that I've just never... So if you never
You'll-
pick it
you'll-
up,
I think
if it's
you'll-
just like, hey, that's a
I
white
think
item that I obviously do not want. It's not
I
going
don't
to be my
think.
lost and found.
I don't think they know. I don't think they know for sure. I guess it's not going to put every single gun you've ever had. It probably has to be a certain degree of like uncommon, like which would be green. But I think also it doesn't necessarily pick up everything you've ever never picked up. I think it may be something that you dropped. The idea is it's a lost and found. You dropped it. It'll pick it up for you. I don't think it's going to pick up everything because you fight a boss and the next thing you know, there's 75 guns that drop and you're just like, oh, well. And then next thing you know, you got to weed through 75 guns in that lost and found.
Yep.
You're never going to find anything. So I think it has to do with those moments where you suddenly get something and you're like, I can't get rid of this handgun right now because I need it for fast fire and I need the sniper rifle, but I really love the shotgun, but I really need to use something that's going to be a little faster because, there's too many fast enemies here. I've done that before where I've dropped stuff. Or I've wanted to have it just so I could sell it later on. Mm-hmm. And all your vendors are on the ship as well. Marcus will be on the ship, and Moxie is on the ship, and Zed is on the ship. Everybody's on the ship.
You know who's not going to be on that ship anymore?
He wasn't on the ship until he was in Sanctuary 1.
Hate you.
So all your usual vendors will be there. There's also a trophy room where who will be in there with you?
Claptrap.
No.
Snarf?
Nope. From the Thundercats?
Maybe. Wait, no. I do want to guess. Give me 3 more guesses. Is it somebody from Borderlands 2?
Yeah.
Is it a character?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, a character? Everyone's a character. What do you mean is he a character?
Well, I don't know if it would be like just...
a playable character?
No. I meant like...
He's a character. I don't need it as long as you weren't saying specifically a playable character. He's not a playable character, but he's a character.
So we already know it's not Claptrap.
And it's a trophy room.
Right. So...
Should be really one answer.
Trophies. What's his... Mordecai.
Nope.
Okay, that's the first guess. Trophies. Who else does trophies? Moxie.
No.
I can't see that.
Well, it wasn't meant for you to see it.
I got one more guess.
Sir Hammerlock? Yes, you're right.
Nope. Would not have ever guessed him.
Hammerlock.
Never would have guessed him.
He sends you. He was part of the DLC where you went literally hunting for trophies.
Yep, never would have guessed him.
Trophy. You end up fighting a guy who becomes like a part of, Tails too.
Gucci?
No, Yamanaka was his name. The guy literally is like, "How come you don't want to kill me?" I'm like, Nakayama. I'm like, I'm notorious, and I was like, "Oh, you should be feared," and all that stuff. And then finally, when you say, obviously, this guy's not going to leave us alone unless we take care of him. He's like, he does, and all of a sudden he starts to realize how dangerous you are, and then next thing you know, he's just like, through the rest of the thing, he's trying to convince you that he's not really that special, and you should just leave him alone. It's pretty funny. He was trying to resurrect Jack. He had like Jack's DNA, so he was going to try to bring Jack back to life.
Did he have Jack's shit?
And the last thing is a shooting range for testing new weapons and alt uses. They had that Marcus's thing too.
Yeah, and
you were shooting an actual Psycho, I think.
Right. So it's not really anything new. It's just.
I'm just saying, but it has a shooting range as well in the ship.
Right.
Okay, so that ends basically all the ship stuff. Any little questions or anything?
Nope.
Good, because I don't have any answers. Next one is like play mechanics, and the first one, which I think is huge, and I think you did too, was vaulting, mantling, and sliding added to the game.
Parkour.
Basically. It's like a dying light. That was the word I was looking for. The game was like dying light. Except probably not to the same extent, but now you will literally be able to
when you're jumping up and you got to go this high and you jump up and you're just like, no.
You get close. And you know that if you were like running and you did it right, you'd probably get up there.
Yeah.
And you've done it, but it takes like 7 times to do it. Now just grab right onto the top of the thing and vault up.
That is a quality of life that I like.
Right.
For this game.
So that, and it's basically a lot like Dying Light in the sense like you press the button and they jump, you hold the button and they'll grab onto if there's something in front of them to like plant their hand over and leap over or grab and pull up, then they'll do it. And then likewise sliding into cover and bringing up cover can now be destroyed. So people hiding behind things can be destroyed. Pretty simple like mechanic that a lot of games use, but never was in this.
I'm going to ask you a question. Maybe you're going to get to it in here, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Ready? What are they called? Fight for your life. Have they changed that at all?
No.
All right.
Doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
I had actually found a what are the, not the relics, what are the other ones called?
Artifacts?
Mods?
Are
they called mods? Again, forgetting on easy words. I found one that gave you like an additional like 20% like fight for your lifetime.
Right.
That was pretty cool. As far as I know, it is not changed.
You're not dying, so it's not happening that often, so you're not getting the benefit of that mod very often.
Right.
There's probably better mods.
The only reason I would have used it like in my play of pre-sequel was I was way under leveled for what I was fighting. Like everything was skulls. So I was dying a lot, and then thankfully bringing myself back to life on numerous occasions. But it wasn't in that game that I had it, so it doesn't matter. Barrels can be pushed at enemies and blown up. They actually have almost like a force push, it looks like. So you can, like, a bunch of enemies, walk up behind a barrel, smack it, goes flying towards them, shoot it out of the air, and explodes. Or hits the ground and explodes. I think that's pretty cool.
I guess.
It's another way to utilize the environment, and I think like that just breeds more creativity. And for the first time ever, even though it seems like it would be obvious, water conducts electricity now. So when people are fighting in water and you zap them, or you use a gun that zaps them, it'll go through the water and zap other people.
There wasn't too much water in Borderlands 2, I don't think.
Not a ton, no. There was when you got to like Oasis, that DLC. Oil can be set on fire.
Hey, goes hand in hand with water.
Right. Well, oil and water, they don't go hand in hand. That's the problem.
Right.
But there are things like they showed in it where like barrel got knocked over, or somebody opened up a valve and then ran, and a bunch of guys coming set the stuff out blaze, and they all caught on fire, kind of thing. Again, just ways to become more creative with your kills, which I think is a good thing. And now, for the first time, though there wasn't a ton of it, there was a few occasions NPCs will revive you.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
How often are you running around with an NPC?
Well, my guess is you'd probably be running around with an NPC more often than you did in previous games. But there was times, like in pre-sequel, you fought beside Jack for a while, and then there was other things like where just guys that are like even cowering and hiding while you're trying to defend them, they would do nothing. Nobody would ever do anything. Roland, you fight with Roland on a few occasions.
He shoots.
He shoots. He doesn't.
He throws down his turret, which you can get.
He
behind.
doesn't
It can
revive
heal
you.
No, it doesn't revive you, but it can.
Right. And what did I say?
Revive.
NPCs can revive you.
Roland's dead, by the way.
He is. That one's pretty obvious.
Big hole in his chest.
Mm-hmm. Well, not a big one. You couldn't see through it or something.
I think he
not like somebody fill in the blank. What's her name? Steele, the woman who headed up the Crimson whatever.
Raiders?
Nope. Crimson Raiders
Dawn?
were the good guys. No, these were the Crimson something.
Crimson.
Doesn't matter. You didn't play the game.
I didn't. Absolutely did not. I tried. Bored the shit out of me.
And then finally, the last thing is the big bad. The Calypso twins, the people you noticed at the beginning. That's their names, the Calypso twins.
Calypso twins. Do they actually have names?
Troy and Tyrene.
Okay. Troy and Tyrene. Okay.
They're the leaders of the cult, the Children of the Vault.
I see that. I saw a couple signs that said Children of the Vault.
Children of the Vault, yep.
So it's a cult?
It is, in fact, a cult. Well, I mean, it's handled like a cult.
Okay.
You know, crazy leaders telling people what to do and following blindly behind them. So, yes. They are after the vaults as well because Tyrene, like a siren, has special gifts. She has to be able to drain power from living things, living creatures. And she wants to basically get into the vaults and basically kill whatever in the vaults because we've had the Destroyer, and then later on the Warrior was sent to kill the Destroyer. So the idea is to be able to draw their power from them and become that much stronger.
But only Tyrene can do that? What about Tommy?
Troy.
Troy's
your big brother. Or brother, I don't know. I think they're twins, actually. He has a big metal arm. That's all I know. And, like, they're just, like, psychopaths. And as they describe them in their, like, I forget what they call them. You know, like when Gearbox was just talking to the press, is that they're like the douchiest,
biops.
the douchiest streamers on the planet.
Streamers? They do.
Yeah, they're streamers. I think they call them death streamers because they like to stream when they kill people.
Okay. I mean, who doesn't, right?
A snuff film, basically, streamer, I guess. So the idea is that they treat you like you're their favorite, and that they're your favorite streamers, kind of like, you know, like, thanks for following and all that kind of stuff. It's basically played out to be a satire of, you know, people like us, I guess.
Right. And then he kills you and he says, don't forget to like and subscribe, click that little bell.
I don't think they have that in their world, but sure, something along those lines, for sure.
Maybe.
But that's everything. That's what they're after and why they're after it. Reese is in it from Tales of the Borderlands, and as I understand it, he is an important component.
Your cases do that too?
Creeks?
Yeah. Mine does it like every 15 minutes. I'm just... It's like, why is
That's
it doing
the first time I think it did it in a while. But so it's like he's like another aspect working with Atlas, I believe it. And then I think Tyrene and Troy are working alongside Atlas to achieve this goal kind of thing. Like, so they've got like a bit of a backing from big money as well.
Excuse me.
So that's about everything.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A little less than a month away until we get to experience this hands-on.
First time, right.
That's right. We will be streaming these games myself, Geoffrey, hopefully Chris, hopefully Tim. Get some content out there, from playable content for you guys to watch.
I'll be live streaming it on the 16th for sure, or the 13th rather. Sorry, for sure.
Hopefully on the 16th too.
And I may even start streaming it as of the time it goes live. Though I got to find out if, like, you know, the East Coast is not hurt because we get games. We would get things first. I don't know if, like, we wouldn't get it until like 4 in the morning.
Probably going to be 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you're just like.
Which case then?
They don't tell you that ahead of time, so you're sitting there waiting up until midnight.
Well, that's why I'll find out, or try to find out beforehand. But that is the plan. I've got my computer all set up to show me comments as they come up, as well as people who subscribe and donate and whatever, and all proceeds will go towards cancer.
No, they won't.
Well, they could.
So after
how quickly
all,
he doesn't want to be the guy who says, "I don't want to fuck cancer."
Fuck cancer. So, has your thoughts changed? Obviously, you're a big Siren fan. You were going to go to Siren. I mean,
I'm still gonna play Amara because I still feel like the Sirens have always been like very tied very closely to the story throughout the beginning, from the beginning rather. So for me, it's more of a just continuing. I'm sorry, we're keeping you.
Yeah. It is 11:30 at night here on the East Coast.
No, it is not. I could do this, couldn't I? So yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like she's going to be as like versatile as the other characters, to be honest with you. But it doesn't change my outlook towards her. I think I have a feeling I'll probably do a lot of stuff like I did with Maya, the grasp, which I really like. I just forget to use it all the time.
Forget to use it. We remind you more often than you remember.
Right.
Geoffrey, use your damn ability.
For sure. So, yeah, I think for the most part I'll do that, and I think I'll probably be playing Mose, or, I mean, honestly, I think all of them, for the first time, sound like something I would really like to be, because previously, like, I played them all as Sirens, and then as Nisha in the pre-sequel, the Gunslinger, and I don't think that any of them came even remotely close to making me want to play them over the Siren. Or so this time, I can say honestly that for the first time, I think I really might end up playing the game multiple times with all 4 characters.
Borderlands 2, I beat the whole game with all the DLC with every single character. It's kind of why I was so burnt out on it to the point when you said, "Hey, let's do this again," even if it is 6 years later.
Right.
Like, I've had my fill of that game, but I'm still enjoying it going through. Definitely not as much. There are some parts where I'm just like, ugh, I forgot about this level, and I can't believe I have to go through this level again.
Right.
But I want to beat it again.
Yeah, I definitely did all the DLC and everything, but I only played it once before with the same characters. So I went through it first time with Lilith, second time with Lilith, so Nisha, and I didn't beat all of pre-sequel the first time, because eventually I was like, I don't recognize this, finally, but I sure as hell got pretty damn far, because I was remembering a lot of things for a lot longer than I expected to. And then the same thing took Maya again, because I don't know, like the characters.
I think I'm still sticking with Flak.
I think it's a good choice, honestly.
And I don't know, either Flak or Mose, whatever.
So I think it would probably be, like, I heard Tim say Mose.
Chris is probably going to go Mose. Welcome to Mose.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go by trying to make it versatile, then...
It'd be nice if everybody had something.
Right.
A different character. But,
well, again, they can be played very differently, obviously, but I think, yes, as far as I know, I heard Tim say Mose right away. I heard you say Flak right away. I said, everyone knew I was going to be with the Siren right away. So that really only leaves Zane for Chris, which I'm sure he won't necessarily like, but I think he'll end up liking it a lot more than you thought. Because like I said, when all of a sudden I realized it wasn't like him putting up just a decoy, it was literally a digital reconstruction of him that shoots and also fires, uses the same gun you do until it disappears. I was like, oh, that's actually a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. And then, like I said, it seems like the drone is just like a pet for like the Beastmaster, and then the huge shield that if we have him, he can put up the giant shield, and we're all shooting through it and getting buffs for the bullets as they go through the shield. I mean, it just sounds like it's one of those kind of characters that, as they put it, like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of character, right. Which I think would be a lot of benefit for the team, but also a lot of fun because you probably can just come up with so many different ways to really utilize the character.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
That's the ABCs of me, baby.
That's right. Say. You will be streaming. I think Flak will be my solo guy. Maybe I don't think I'd want to do him in multiplayer as well. So maybe I go Mose.
You don't think I'm done. Amara?
I think if Tim really likes Mose,
nobody knows anything until we
but
play
if he does, maybe that's who he does in campaign for solo, and then he plays somebody else.
Right. Well,
Like,
that's
I mean,
true.
I like Siren, so maybe I go Siren in multiplayer. Although I don't know. Again, we'll see. But either way, I will be streaming videos of Flack in some way, shape, or form. Come in, watch, talk, chat. You'll catch no flack from me.
Right. I think that would be the best thing to do, is to make sure that we have like one stream that's all four, which would be fun because of the interaction. Then too, is other people can then say, I really kind of want to see how the whole Flack thing plays out. You can see there, you can see Amara play out, Moe's play out, and so on and so forth. So we could have numerous streams, but they'll be like, Flack gameplay and, Moe's gameplay or so forth. And obviously we can discuss this after more. But anything else you want to ask or contribute?
No, I think that's a lot of information. I think it's a good amount of time. I don't know how long we've been at this. Maybe 20 minutes.
Good guess. So yeah, I think it's. I'm obviously excited because I've been playing the hell out of it. I've got something like 40, I think 49, 50 something videos that will be up in a short manner of time, and I've still got.
We have to do Commander Lilith because neither of us have done that yet.
That's why you need to make sure to get at least up to like that 30
I'm level
mark.
30 right now.
Right.
So
okay, well, so
I'm
you're
getting to that point.
You're leveled enough to get there.
Yeah.
I'm going to still end up wrecking shop because I don't think the thing's. It may be scaled, I don't know, but I'm like 42.
Oh Jesus! You may not even be able to team with me.
I don't know, but like I said, that we keep playing and eventually you'll get caught up because I didn't. The problem is like all of a sudden I realized that some of the stuff was scaling and I'm getting like some of the stuff I fought. And by the way, there's like a section that's all like I think holiday based stuff. I did one that was Thanksgiving with Torg. Yeah. I had no idea those didn't exist when I played it either. The only thing that I ever played prior to this was the Pirates one, an Oasis. I remember that one specifically, and Scarlet basically telling you she was going to double cross you at some point and so on and so forth. So I remembered that one, but I don't think any of the other content had come out when I played it. So I just probably was stuck on something else at the time. But yeah, I played Torg's big when you fight Waddle, and then he has you talk to his grandmother for a while, and then the second quest is listen to another story, and I'm like, holy shit, the first one was like 10 minutes long. I'm going to have to listen to her for another fucking 10 minutes.
Yep.
Insanity. And it's starting over again. So you're right, 20 minutes. Well, thank you for joining us for this. Kind of a mostly interpretive, kind of like, our take on what it is. Like I said, it wasn't meant to be terribly informative, because I'm sure you've heard a lot of this information before, but just kind of, like the opinion. And we'd like to hear your opinion. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe as always, and make sure to ring the bell to find out about more content that's coming out, including Borderlands 3 and the specificity of what's going to be happening with Borderlands 3, the stream, and anything else we're putting out. And we're going to try to do more show stuff. We got stuff in the can. We just gotta get it up there for you guys. So until next time.
We are in the summer. We started this whole channel like late spring, early summer, ish. And this is literally the first game that is coming out that is brand new.
I realize Days Gone.
Days Gone was the new game come out just after we had started this or whatever. But this is like the first huge AAA title that is being released since we've started the SGC. So we're looking forward to it. But I mean, aside from Borderlands, I will be getting
Star Wars.
Well, definitely Star Wars. Definitely Ghost Recon as well. Chris is probably going to grab that as well. And then I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other games, but that's all next year and stuff. Control, yeah, I might actually grab that.
The Remedy game.
Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much it.
Until next time.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bop bop bee bop doo wop.